Hi everybody, CohhCarnage here with another thoughts video, this time a final thoughts video on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the second entry of a trilogy designed to basically re-invite the Final Fantasy VII original game into a new day and age. It is a game where you are absolutely required to play Final Fantasy VII Remake. I would probably suggest you play OG first if you can and have the time. But it is definitely the second in a trilogy. So to get this out of the way early, yes, you do need to play Remake first before you play Rebirth. This game is beautiful. It has tons of fun mini games. It is fully voice acted. It has tons of interesting quests, places to see, amazing music. It will be quicker in this video to talk about what this game does poorly, because this game does so many things so incredibly well. And it really does stand out in terms of just what it offers players in game selections. So the overall review that I have for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, it takes everything I liked from Remake, which I loved, and essentially makes it better in almost all ways. There are some ways that we'll talk about here in a second that it could improve on, but in almost all ways, in my opinion, it does get better. So from the top, great music, great graphics, combat's fun, bosses are interesting and fun. The main story was, of course, ridiculous. Lots of side questing to do, lots of mini games, lots of optional content, places to explore, things to see. It's got it all. That being said, it does retain some of the issues I think the original game had, where, sometimes combat can feel a little clunky unless you master the systems, which many people do. There are also situations where the menu systems, you can tell, didn't quite keep up with the changes that they made in the game. For instance, there's an upgrade weapons section in the UI that doesn't do anything. There's no purpose for it. It was in the last game, but it has zero meaning in this game. On top of that, there's no materia loadouts, but there's loadouts for like everything else. And funny enough, the only thing you need loadouts for is materia. You don't need loadouts for anything else. So it's this weird thing. And I probably wasted 2+ hours of my playthrough just resetting materia back to where I wanted it. On top of that, there are definitely some situations in the game where the quality level is a little bit inconsistent. There are some levels that are amazing, and there's others that are a little bit more of a slog to get through. On top of that, there are a few weird drops in quality that were surprising. Like, for instance, there are amazing, fundamentally awesome mini games in this game. And for like 5 of these iconic quests, you get like a unique, fun, awesome mini game for each of them. And then for the last one, you just walk around and don't do anything for like 10 minutes. It's kind of like, what? Like, why don't I have a cool mini game for the last one? Like, what? There's times where it's kind of like, was something cut here? Like, it feels a little weird. And there's a few parts like that in the game where it's kind of like the rest of it is so good that you'll come up to these few little parts where it's just kind of like, did something happen here? Did they forget to put something in here? And thankfully, considering my playthrough was 100 hours and 37 minutes, I can safely say that probably like less than 2 to 3% of the game ever felt that way. But it is the kind of thing where, it was noticeable. Considering the rest of the game was so good, it was very noticeable. So that was a little weird. Also, I have to say that, like, it's weird, and I don't feel this way too often, but there were definitely, I feel like, a couple times in this game where I was kind of like, yeah, this is really filler. Like, not even a little filler. Like, this is really filler. And here's the thing. I did 100% it, pretty much. I didn't hard mode all the mini games, and I do have, like, one little quest line to do. But I did, like, 99% the game. And I have to admit that, yes, there are definitely, like, big parts of this game where it's kind of like, yeah, they didn't need to do that. They didn't need, like, I spent 100 hours in this game. This game didn't need filler. I feel like it didn't need filler, which is weird, again, to say that, but just the good parts were so good that I kind of feel like at times it's kind of like, why not? If you would have just kept all the good parts, you'd still be like a 90 hour game. So I don't know. That was a little strange. That was a little strange. But it's kind of like I just feel like you don't need it. Define the filler. There's like a couple areas where there's like long corridor style levels between story events that happened like near instantly in the last one. There were parts where there was like large open worlds where you would have to spend like 15 minutes getting to something and it'd be like an elixir. There were entire quest lines that were kind of not up to that big quality that a lot of the other stuff has. A lot of the dungeons felt a little fillery. Some of the open world stuff was a little fillery. It's people, as Gagda says, people like different things, and that's cool. My personal opinion is that this game aired a little more heavily than I personally prefer on that kind of stuff in games that you kind of feel you just kind of got to get through to get to the good stuff. There were definitely multiple parts in this game where I was like, let me just get through this part because I know there's really good stuff at the end of here or in the next area. So let me just get through this part. I felt that way a few times throughout the game. And it's just kind of like when your game's this big, I don't really know if you need to do that. You know, I don't know if you need to spend that extra time. But anyway, again, I'm nitpicking here at the end just because there's really not a huge amount of things to talk poorly about in this game. Like it's a really, really, really good game. And I had a fantastic time with it. And I hope you do too. I am looking forward to the last game, but man, I got to tell you, especially after this one, I think we are all in for a ride. Anyway, I'm out of here for now. Thanks for watching this thoughts video. I will see you guys later. This marks game 2 of our big list of games I want to complete. We'll be working on the rest of them as we go into this next week. And thank you as always for being here. See you guys later. Bye-bye.